I'm joined by our visiting scholar, Dr. Steve Willing, and we're talking about critical thinking and Christian character. Steve, it seems to me that, sometimes I'm quite skeptical of what other people believe, but I'm less inclined to be skeptical of what I believe. What do you mean by consistent skepticism, and how is that helpful to us as Christian thinkers?
First, let me start by defining what skepticism is and is not. First, the insinuation that Christians should be skeptical might raise some hackles in some quarters, because we all are drilled to believe, well, the opposite of skepticism is faith. So if I'm for skepticism, then I'm against faith. But that's a false definition. The opposite of skepticism is credulity, being willing to believe anything and everything. And we see abundance of that in current society with all-time levels of belief in astrology and crystals and tarot cards and aliens and vaccines and autism links. People are willing to believe almost anything. So what are some correct definitions of skepticism? I'd offer two. The first one is a consistently materialistic worldview. Well, that would exclude all those things I just mentioned. And hardly anybody embraces. There are few, but very few people are willing to live their lives like that. That's simply a working out in life of the old philosophical empiricism that you can't know anything except what you can directly experience. The other definition of skepticism, and the one that I prefer, is simply demanding a high level of evidence for any belief and consistently applying the same degree of evidence to any additional truth claim, which unfortunately is not what we tend to do. We all are at any point in our lives with a set of beliefs and opinions, and we are very much in love with our opinions. So any contrary evidence we would look upon with disdain. We'd be very suspicious of any evidence that contradicted our beliefs and hold it to a much higher standard than we would beliefs. We'd apply a much higher standard to that opposing evidence than we would to evidence supporting our viewpoint. Now, I'm not suggesting we need to question foundational doctrines of the Christian faith. There's abundance of evidence for these and a lot of reasons we should believe it.
So consistent skepticism is not accepting a skeptical worldview and rejecting God. Rather, it's thinking critically and analytically. I mean, Scripture talks about test all things and hold fast to that which is good. Scripture also says don't believe things too quickly, but to be deliberate. Now, sometimes when I'm online, Facebook, Twitter, I will encounter skeptics. These are philosophical skeptics. These are secular people. They are quite skeptical of my worldview, but I will sometimes ask them, are you skeptical of your secular skepticism? And they're often kind of taken off guard by that. So this can be a very healthy thing, both for the Christian and the non-Christian.
Yes, and there's very good evidences for our faith. There are good historical evidence for the authority of Scripture and the foundation of Christianity. There are good evidences in the world around us for the existence of an intelligent, loving Creator God. If there was no evidence for Christianity, we should believe it.